Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. This is going to be a side dish to go with some lovely lamb leg steaks that I have. If you have some cauliflower that's getting a little bit long in the tooth, this is wonderful. Some bacon, garlic, cauliflower, olive oil, and if you want you can add a little bit of rosemary or something. So first thing we're going to do is cut our bacon into inch strips, and this is 3 slices of thick cut bacon. You can use less if you prefer, but my bacon's also getting a bit long in the tooth. I know that's an odd thing. Bacon doesn't usually last long enough to die in the fridge. Okay, so now we're going to just trim off the dark bits, anything suspect. Push the bacon aside so we don't contaminate it. And we want our cauliflower in smaller florets, which we are going to put on a baking sheet. And anything that's nice and white, don't worry about it, just trim it a little bit. We don't want huge ones, we want nice little florets. So something that size, just break it off, throw it on the pan. And make sure, all you have to make sure is that you trim the really ugly stuff off. A little bit brown isn't going to hurt because we are going to roast it. And it is going to end up brownish anyway. But you just don't want anything that looks suspect. Okay. We're going to chop our garlic. And I have 2 cloves of garlic here. So we're just going to give it a squish. That helps get the peel off. I'm just gonna slice it up. You know what? You don't want huge pieces, but you also don't want it seriously tiny mince. There we go. So we throw that on there. And then we put our bacon on. And this is basically overkill on the bacon, but I want to use it up. Push everything off of here. So I'm just going to toss it around a little bit, get garlic and the drizzle with some olive oil. And spread it around the pan fairly evenly. Any of the larger ones break up. And I do have some nice rosemary out of my garden. I'm just going to and there's a few leaves, like not a whole lot. Once it's done roasting, we can actually season with some salt, pepper, whatever you like. Just get everything on there. And this will go into an oven at 375 degrees until roasted and browned and yummy. So probably probably 20 to 25 minutes. We will check it before that just to make sure. Alright, for our potato, we are going to do Greek potatoes. Now, if you've ever been into a Greek restaurant in this part of the world, I don't know about anywhere else, but around here, what you will get referred to as a Greek potato is something large, overcooked, yellow because it's been cooked in chicken stock, and it's been sitting on a steam table for many, many hours. That is unfortunately just the way they are, because restaurant cooking, when you have to cook something that takes a while, you have to do a bunch ahead of time. But a good Greek potato is what we're going to do now, and they have no resemblance to that creature. So first off, we're going to take some potatoes and cut them up. I've already peeled them, so let's cut them. And we're going to cut them into wedges. We don't want them too thin. Then again, we don't want them too thick. So, and a few thinner ones is okay. Okay, once we've got them cut up, we are going to put them in a dish, oven-proof dish. Now I have already sprayed it with Pam or whatever oil you happen to be able to get in a spray bottle. We're going to coat them with some olive oil, just a little drizzle over them. And then we're going to add in some rosemary. We don't be too heavy-handed because we're adding a lot of spices, or a lot of herbs here. Some thyme. Do use dried herbs for this. You could use fresh, but hard to say how that's going to work. Dried definitely works very well. And some basil. Now we're going to give them a little toss to mix them all together and get them all coated with the oil and the herbs. Next, we're going to pour in maybe a tablespoon of lemon juice. Then about half a cup of chicken stock. May not need the whole half cup. Depends on the size of your pan. But you don't want to cover the potatoes. I'm going to give them a good sprinkling of salt. You don't need a whole lot because the herbs will do a lot for flavoring, and a lot of salt won't be necessary. And we're going to cover, and our oven's now ready. We're going to put this in a 375-degree oven for approximately 3/4 of an hour until the potatoes soften. Then we're going to take the tin foil off and raise the temperature to 400 degrees. For our main course, we are doing some lovely lamb leg steaks. First thing we want to do is heat our pan up, which it is now hot. And then we're going to just a little bit of olive oil on both sides. And then place them in the hot pan. Just like so. Now, in reserve, I have some butter. We are going to put that on. And a little bit of rosemary. Depending on your taste, you can use more rosemary, but I find if I use too much, it gets bitter. We are going to fry these on each side until we get them lovely and crusty and browned. And then we're going to add the butter and the rosemary. Now, one thing you may have to do, or you will have to do, when you're cooking a piece of meat like this, is cut the fat around the edges so that it will lay flat. Because once you brown the first side, it will curl up because the fat will shrink. Whatever's around the outside is going to shrink up and pull it all up into a cup shape. So when you flip it over, it's going to not be on the pan. It's going to be raised up. So just cut the edges until it lays flat. Now we want our lamb medium rare, so we're going to stop cooking now. Turn the heat off, and I'm going to put about a half a teaspoon of butter on each lamb steak. And sprinkle on, or tear on, the rosemary. I'm going to remove it from the pan to the plate. And cover it. Put the butter on there, our rosemary on there. I'm going to cover it and let it rest. While the rest of our dinner completes, which shouldn't be too long, but you do want to give your meat at least 5 minutes to rest. Wonderful Greek potatoes. Okay, those are the best Greek potatoes you would ever want. Lovely and crispy on the edges, soft and tender on the inside, and seasoned beautifully. And our roasted cauliflower and bacon. Give it a little stir here. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of pepper. I think we got enough bacon that we don't need any salt. We are going to want a little pepper maybe. Some fresh ground pepper on there. And dinner is ready. So that's my version of a Greek lamb leg steak with Greek potatoes and roasted cauliflower and bacon. Takes a while to prepare, but it's well worth the trouble. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Hit that bell icon so you get more videos as soon as I put them up. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon.